Yo guys, welcome back. It is Ripe again, back with episode 67 of our Reddit series, and I hope you're ready to get annoyed at some entitled people. In case you enjoy my content, please don't forget to like the video to help me get the video recommended, and now without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. Entitled man makes a fuss because I want to make it to my timed break and eat. So I work a summer job in a supermarket. It's not huge, but it's the biggest one in our town. Every year, people, especially minors, go work there during summer to earn some money, and this being my second year here, I'm pretty familiar with most tasks and rules. It's an 8-hour shift with a 15-minute break, which you can push for 30 minutes at most. And I usually wait until my 6th hour to go on a break and buy myself something to eat and drink. Today, here I was doing my usual routine. Cleaning the floor, stocking shelves, making room for other stuff. And then, finally, 6th hour. The only time in the day I can actually sit down and rest. I went and grabbed myself a banana, some juice and a Kinder Penguin. My usual. I checked in with my manager and I went to the cash register to pay. There was not a huge line, but it did get pretty crowded, so I stood there and waited for my turn. Note, the break starts when you tell your manager you went on a break, so all the time you spent picking what to eat and waiting in line counts. So when I put my stuff on a register, this man, EM furthermore, who looked about 40, pushing a cart full of stuff, asked,
"Excuse me, can you move?"
Me, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm also waiting in line." EM,
"But you work here."
Me, "Yeah, but I'm on a break." EM,
"Well, even if you're on a break, you should be letting the customers first."
He said this in that,
"I'm much older than you, so you have to take everything I say as a fact with absolute respect."
voice. If I waited for all the customers to pay so I can pay after them, I would have to wait until the end of my shift and then some. Me, "Sorry, but my break doesn't last that long and I have only 3 things to pay for and you have an entire cart." EM,
"I don't care how many things you have. You're an employee and I'm a customer. Your job is to give services to your customers, is it not?"
We were almost at the register now. Me, "Actually, when I came here, they told me my job was stocking shelves. On my contract, it also says stocking shelves. My job is not to please you, sorry. I'm too exhausted to even act polite. But if you would like, I can return every item you have in your cart to its proper place on the shelf and still have minutes to spare on my break." He muttered something to the person behind him, but thankfully when I turned around, I saw that I was next in line, bonus for the convenience, and I said hi to my colleague, paid for my stuff and walked out without looking at the guy, and now I am sitting on this lovely bench, my banana eaten, and I'm writing this with 10 more minutes to spare. As usual guys,
"The customer is always right and the customer has the right to abuse you."
Just kidding of course, but that mentality is really annoying. But let's continue. Entitled grandma convinced security guard to kick me out of a wedding. So a little backstory here. My family is very extroverted, unlike me, so for me to be wanting to go out with them to a wedding was happy news. Also, this wedding is not a normal Christian wedding, but it is a Muslim Arabian one. And what that means is that it is gender separated, so no male members were present to deal with this lady. Also, some weddings restrict children from entering, important detail. And by the way, weddings are held from 12 AM to 4 AM, so yeah. The cast is EG for entitled grandma, G1 my first grandma, G2 my second grandma, C for cousin, and SG for security guard. On to the story. So it's a nice holiday night where C convinced me to go out with them to a wedding since I have not gone out for half the school break, and I accepted. We both went upstairs to our floor and started getting ready. After we were done, we started to drive to the castle, what we basically call wedding places in Arabic, and we finally arrived and get out to walk inside. What I see next was a bunch of kids crying because what I assume was they were not allowed in. We get our phones taken away, which is for the wedding attendees' privacy and no leaked woman's photo. And so we proceed to walk in and SG lets me in with no hesitation whatsoever. We get in and everyone is stunned by my 4 feet 4 inches height and the very childish style of dress and hairstyle. Poofy short dress and pigtails. This is where EG comes in. She basically did not even give any time for us to realize she existed and proceeded to walk towards SG and yell at her as to,
"Why is this child allowed and mine isn't?"
The SG clearly did not have time for any trouble as other women were entering and the wedding was starting. Well, what is she gonna do, you may ask? Surely she's just going to ask you politely to leave for the sake of the rules where you would explain that you are not a 7-year-old. Nah. She came speed walking towards me. Mind you, she's huge and all I saw was an obese giant almost running towards me, and guess what? She grabs my arm, almost pinching my bones, and proceeded to walk me back to the entrance gate. After seeing the situation, C came in and legit scratched her arm from shoulder to the back of her palm over and over again. By now, EG notices things are gonna take a long time, so she walked to SG and started dragging me to the entrance gate with her. Now I would do something at this point, but I was just shocked that a sane person can have the audacity to do it. G2 also came in and got my traumatized self out of her grip and yelled at her alongside C, while G1 was, I assume, watching awkwardly. Once we got out to outside entrance hall, everyone was screaming at SG and EG while they were fighting back at them. And basically, C was shouting at everyone that I was in fact a tiny normal teenager and nothing else. Long story short, we went to another wedding that was way more chill and had people I actually knew in there, and I have a cool story to tell my kids when they complain about being short in the future. If you have watched until here, don't forget to post some stars in the comments to let me know that you are a loyal subscriber. Thank you very much. Also, I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit different today, but yesterday night I was out with a friend and I still haven't fully recovered, so please bear with me. I pay for this girl to go to an amusement park and more, only for her to end up on the side of the road because of her entitlement. So I was friends with this girl since elementary school. Moved away, then came back and I got back in touch with her and I forgot why we fell out of touch. I was soon reminded. She would literally demand I drove her places and pay for things. Never a please or thank you. I was still new, coming back to my hometown after being gone for a while, so I took the friends I could get. The moment before my tipping point was when she called me over to her house to hang out, but then demanded that I take her downtown. I said, "If you say please." She cursed me out and threw a fit, and even her parents were on my side. So I left and she got a ride from someone else, so she did not learn her lesson. I also didn't learn my lesson, and I ended up paying for tickets for her and I for an amusement park and brought her 2 friends with us. She was super pissed. We had to wait in line for her friends to buy tickets. Since mine were just scannable on my phone, we could get in faster, but I didn't want to leave the other girls behind because for some reason she did not understand that friends wait for each other. Oh, I forgot to mention that this park is over 150 miles away and all they gave me the entire day was $20 in gas. Anyway, after going on rides and them refusing to go on rides I wanted to do, I mentioned how my shoes were hurting my feet and I was gonna go to my car and be back in 20 minutes to change my shoes. She went livid since
"None of them had a phone. I won't know where you are. I'm not just gonna wait around like an idiot."
I cannot remember if she said that exact word, but I remember it being kind of offensive. Stuff like that. I told her that if they went on this ride, then after we met at this spot it would be okay, but she didn't see that as rational. Even though I know that I would definitely make it back in time to beat them at the meeting point before they got off the ride. So they end up coming to the car with me and complaining that I ruined everything. Girl, I paid for your ticket, food, parking and whatever else. And then her and her friends try to smoke a blunt in my car as I'm changing shoes, and that's a big no-no to me. I truly don't mind smoking weed, but don't do it in my car. Like yeah, I smoke 6, but weed wasn't legal yet back then, plus I haven't smoked weed in forever and I don't appreciate you ignoring my main rule. I've told them this before. I tell them I'm done and it's time to head back to the park. She decides that I've wasted too much time to grab new shoes and it's too late, it was probably around 5 PM mind you, and we have to head home. She then forces me to stop at a mall a few tens of miles away and yet again pay for her meal. Then she asks we stop at a friend's house to chill. By chill, they mean sit in my car and talk about stupid stuff in front of this dude's house. Now, I get crazy tired in the sun, so I decide to take a tiny cat nap while we were parked in front of this dude's house. I get woken up to her screaming that I'm being an idiot for sleeping. I decide then and there that I cannot deal with this anymore, so I call my mom on speakerphone so I don't have it up to my ear or anything, and have my phone in my lap and ask her to meet me halfway because I cannot have this girl in my car anymore. The girl demands I get off at an exit to drop off money for prom, and when I don't, she decides to grab my steering wheel to try and get off. Thank God there was no one near that we could crash into. So I pulled off at the next exit and told her to get the F out. Also mind you, she was berating me the whole time I was driving, saying how I'm worthless, I was sleeping behind the wheel, technically true, but we were parked in front of some guy's house at the time, and my dad was right and I deserve to be abused. Stuff like that. So I was 150% done. I force her out, and at first her friends are on my side, but then they turned. And the little one tried to attack me in my cars, claws and all. So I forced them out too. But these girls had the audacity to ask for their effing $20 of gas money back. After all that. So me, being kinda smart, said, okay, I will give you your money once you step out of the car. They do so, then I lock the doors and drive away. I literally was still full of so many emotions that I could not drive the whole way, and I get anxiety super bad and cannot focus sometimes, and had my mom drive my car the last 60 or so miles home. I also forgot to mention she constantly stole from me, mainly clothes. That's why I stopped being her friend in elementary school. Anyway, I just needed to vent this story to other people who didn't know us personally. And I felt Entitled People was the right place. I have other stories as well too, but sorry it's long, thanks for reading. That girl is not only incredibly entitled, but also a choosing beggar if you ask me. But let's continue to the last story for today. Entitled parent teaches kid to steal and thinks it's okay. I'm a merchandiser along with a janitor at the airport. This happened yesterday and it's still blowing my mind. This is not long, so I won't bore you too much. The cast is me, EM entitled mother, K root kid, C for cop. As a merchandiser, I replace the old Macs and books with new ones every day. I gotta count each book and Mac to make sure the inventory is correct. While I'm replacing a stack of Macs, I overhear a conversation with a mother and child, a little boy, maybe 5 or 6. All I heard was,
I should get us something for the ride, shouldn't I?
And as I come back to get another stack of books, I see the kid looking through my inventory. Me, hey buddy, can I help you? K, my mom wants a magazine. I close the tote he's looking in, and sorry to interrupt, but I don't know what the word tote means, so please help me out in the comments if you know what that means. Me, well there's plenty in the store you guys can look at. He left for a few minutes until I reached the next section of books. I came back and there he is again. Me, hey buddy, I already told you have to get one from the store. K, but my mom wants a free one, stop being mean you jerk. Me, beat it Junior. I said no. I expected the mother to come straight up to me, but she didn't, which was weird, but 5 minutes later she did. I came back to the mother, looking through the stuff. Me, excuse me, can I help you? EM,
just browsing.
Me, okay well, these are not for sale anymore. EM,
I know, that's why I'm looking. I paid such and such for my flights. You really think I'm going to pay for a magazine?
Me, yes I do, I have a job to do. I put my card away from her and she went right back to it. Ma'am, if you don't back off now, I will get the police officer standing over there. The cop noticed me pointing to him and started walking over to us. Police officer, what's going on? EM,
nothing, we're just going back to our seats.
I explained what happened to the cop and he said he would stick around. 20 minutes go by and as I'm stacking the last of the books, I hear,
don't you talk to my son.
Cop, ma'am, you shouldn't teach your kid to steal. EM,
They are free, he said.
points to me. No, I didn't. EM,
He's lying. I want his manager.
me, that's fine. I can show him on that camera over there the countless times I told you and your kid no. She made a swing to hit me, but hit the cop instead. Cop, now you're under arrest for assault on an officer. The kid is looking at me. Me, beat it, Junior. He went to find his dad, and of course, the dad came up to me asking what happened. After I explained, to my surprise, he did not get angry. He just asked, where did they take her? I told him and they left. That has to be the most stupid argument I've ever heard. So I paid a lot for my flights, and that's why I am entitled to free stuff at the airport. EMs never cease to amaze. But either way guys, that's the end of the video for today. I'm sorry it was a bit shorter today, but I don't really feel good. But I still hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to help my channel grow, and I see you tomorrow.